Hello. I'm making this to kind of go along with the podcast preview of the new book I did. It's cold, it's rainy, and I just got done walking. No running today. I'm feeling a little but I did yesterday receive the new book. This is just a test copy, as you can see, not for resale. This is a layout of the cover. From getting it and looking at it, and talked about it with my wife and a friend of mine, this is probably gonna have to go. Maybe moved up to here, maybe the name moved down here. If I'm able to do that with the software I got, I don't know. That's gonna be my goal, is to get that. The cover is a picture I took at Carfork Lake. I like the new book, has the slick, waxy kind of feel to it. The photo wraps. This version is about 107 pages, something like that. The actual, I believe, will be closer to 117. There's some information I added in the beginning. I went with a new style of paper. It's got a much better feel to it. It's got the cream color on it. A lot of this will change. There'll be different stuff put in. Like I said, I've got some information I've added down here. A lot of this has changed. My acknowledgement page, and then a friend of mine gave me some advice. The book really reads like it's split into sections anyway, because it is. That's the flow I was talking about in that one podcast. The flow of the book, the way I wanted it to flow. So it kind of has different levels to it. And so I went back and actually, she had recommended this, put actual dividers and actual title page to each section, and I think it definitely makes it flow a little better. There's another poem I may actually add to it that's not in this, but I'm not sure yet. Man, I missed the podcast because I have a cough button on the podcast I do not hear, and I have to cough. But today I'm going to just I'll give you three poems from three of the sections. There's actually another section. The title of the book will be Creating the Perfect Slave. The very first poem you'll come to is Perfect Slave. You are your freshly manicured lawn. You are your freshly painted home. You are your brand new overpriced automobile. You are your education. You are your brand name clothes. You are your athlete endorsed athletic shoes. You are your political party. You are your Facebook profile. You are your Instagram post. You are your last tweet. You are your own worst enemy. You are the perfect slave. That sets the tone kind of for that first section, which is a fairly long section, I guess. It's definitely the longest section in the book, I would assume. Let me see, pull something from another section. Let me look. Probably should have done this well before I started the video, figure out what I was going to read, but it's a lot more fun if we just sit and kind of suffer through this together. Let's see. Trying to find something also that maybe I've not talked about as much with you guys. I'll do this one. It's called How to Skin a Cat. Selfish fears and shallow guilt stitched together like a patchwork quilt. Broken dreams and empty hope. Use what you must just to cope. Cling to misery, hold tight to the pain. Sweaty palms and sick stomach once again. Could be a broken home or low sense of self-worth that is to blame. The result will be the same. An excuse for an excuse to be the monster you enjoy. You can blame it all on the misery you imagined as a boy. Blame others with ease. Stroke your own ego, it's easier to please. You look often for a scapegoat to blame. Maybe if I were in your shoes, I could justify doing the same. Tell me again how this is not the result of your own poor choices. Sing to me again with what sounds like a multitude of broken voices. Rest assured, without change there is no happy ending. A bridge broken too many times can get beyond mending. When all the others had walked away, somehow she felt the duty to stay. You still pushed and mocked her for her own misfortunes, not willing to own up and eat your own portions. I have given love, hope, and advice. You best learn to skin the cat if you're choosing to live low like the mice. So, I guess you really need to read the whole book with its whole flow to get the change, why that's different from, I mean, you obviously can understand by the subject matter that it's different, but there is a change in mood as it goes on through. Let's see. And like I said, there's some stuff I'm kind of skipping by. There's some stuff I want to, I don't know, I guess somewhat leave because I think it's maybe good for the book. Like if you experience it with the other stuff. Now this is something that's going to be in the book. There's going to be some stuff like this, just almost like essay but short, just statement stuff, even quotes, just kind of one-line things. And then this was an idea that developed as a poem, got switched to a short story, and this is actually just the outline for the short story. It's not, it's a complete thought, but it's in a different form than I would normally do. It's called Growing Pains. As a small child, he found a hole in a large rock. He crawled into the hole and found a long tunnel. He followed the tunnel to the end. The tunnel was small and tight against his tiny body. At the end of the long tunnel, it opened to a mid-sized room. The room was full of all the things a small child could ever want. It had toys, but at home he had none. It had water that was cold, running, and at his fingertips. At home he had to pack his water every day. It had food, fresh and always prepared. At home he had to help grow and hunt if he was to eat. Mostly it had no others around to bother him. At home, family or neighbors were always telling or asking him to do something. He grew and lived in solitude in his hidden kingdom. He had to exist alone, and at first that was wonderful. One day he became bored, lonely, and desired new adventures. He tried to crawl back into the small tunnel, but his body had grown way too large to get back into the opening. He was now stuck. He had grown physically too large to exit the room. If only he had grown mentally before he found the hole, then maybe he would not have gotten trapped. That is at the backside of one section. Trying to find something that's a little different that's coming towards the end. Let me see. It's a little harder to separate this out. Like I said, there's stuff I don't want to give out that I kind of like for you to just see, that at some point I'll break down and read because there's some of my favorites. This is one of the last two poems in the book, and it's this thing kind of takes you on a thought journey, and this kind of brings you to the end. Let's see which one I actually want to read. It's called The Purge. I am not what you assume me to be. I am not engulfed with darkness. I am not defined by negativity. I am not controlled by hopelessness. My words paint the wrong picture if you don't look deep enough. My thoughts on paper only expose one side, so let me redo that because there is a mistake. That's the reason for printing these books and getting them sent to you. Let's see. Here we go. My thoughts on paper only expose one side so often. My work shows only what you are looking for. My art exposes only what you seek in it. I have light in my life. I have joy in my heart. I have love in abundance. I have hope for tomorrow. My complaints get filed. My worries get addressed. My concerns are put into words. My fears are exposed. I clean out the mess. I shine light in the dark. I expose the lesser but value the greater. I purge so I don't get consumed. Release date on this thing, not, no clue. It's like I said, I'm still depending on how I work on it, and I actually have other stuff in the works. I'm probably still a couple weeks away from getting it completely ready, and then I really want to do an in-store. Oh, and I picked this. I got this yesterday as well. I don't know if you can see it or not. I bought this from the Red Spotted Newt. That will be the only place that the book will be available for at least the first couple weeks, maybe the first month. I don't know. Probably the first couple of weeks, because we'll try to plan some readings and stuff kind of all close together when it comes out. That way I can do readings at other places and it can be available there. But get your copy when it comes out, and get it from the Red Spotted Newt if you can. Questions, comments, anything, let me know. You can reach us. You can reach me at anything that is specifically book related. I prefer you just send it to author jperk at gmail.com, because I have 3 emails for a reason. I get hammered with emails a lot of times, especially with work mainly. If you have something for the show, that's talkjunkie at gmail.com. But thanks.